Happy New Year's! It is 2020 and we are jumping right into things with the January Artsnacks box for this year. Artsnacks boxes are always so much fun to work with. I am very happy I'm still subscribed to Artsnacks. I know a lot of people are kind of getting frustrated with Artsnacks as a whole, but I'm sticking with it. I've been enjoying it so far, so we're gonna keep going this year, presumably the whole year with Artsnacks, unless something weird happens. But this is the January box. I didn't have anything from this box spoiled to me. Artsnacks, to my knowledge, didn't tease anything that was in this box, which was really nice because I'm not a huge fan of that. It's nice to be completely unaware of what I'm getting at the very beginning of the month, and I had no idea what was in this box when I was opening it. The sticker this month was also really cute. The past few stickers I have really liked, and this one was definitely no exception. And then onto the first art supply. This is the Sennelier Abstract Acrylic 3D Liner. I have never seen one of these before. It's basically acrylic paint in a little pen that makes it come out in a 3D shape, which is pretty cool. I got mine in a very obnoxious orange color, so there's that, but not the worst. And then we got a Marabou art crayon. We've actually gotten these in Artsnacks boxes before. I've been subscribed to Artsnacks for a really long time, and I'm fairly certain they have sent these guys out a long time ago. I think I've had my subscription for a little over 3 years, but these look super familiar. I'm pretty sure I have a couple of these from a past Artsnacks box. We also got a Tombow Mono drawing pencil. It's a pencil, to me, a graphite pencil is just a graphite pencil, it's nothing special. This one didn't come sharpened, so I just really quickly sharpened it, and yeah, it's a pencil. And last but not least, we have this King Art Original Gold 9300 series Golden Taklon brush, shader size 10, which is a lot of words, as brushes tend to be. But I was really excited to get another flat shader brush because I've been really enjoying working with flat shader brushes. So I generally tend to look forward to the brushes that come with Artsnacks because they tend to be really nice brushes. And then it came to swatching everything. I wasn't super excited about my color combination. I got this very vibrant orange as well as a fairly vibrant green, and yeah, as a whole, I can say with confidence I wasn't super excited about this box right off the bat. The 3D pen thing was kind of cool, but it's not something that I really use in my illustrations. As far as mixed media goes, I don't really care for doing anything 3D. And then the crayon was a crayon. It's a watercolor crayon, which is nice because you can dilute it really well. And I was actually really surprised with how well it blended out. Normally when it comes to like watercolor pencils or watercolor crayons, they don't blend out to a fine line. Normally you can see right where you laid them. But the Marabou art crayon actually blended very gorgeously. And then there was a pencil. So I wasn't super excited about the art supplies at first, both in terms of my color selection as well as the actual supplies themselves. So what I've been doing lately when it comes to my Artsnacks boxes is I've just been trying to water down the supplies and use them in a not traditional way, which I mentioned in my last Artsnacks box. And I've been doing this for a while, just kind of trying to work with the tools in a way that I can enjoy and in a way that I can work with. And I decided to water down and mix together the colors, and that like greatly changed my outlook on this box. I really didn't know what I was gonna draw. I was completely uninspired by it. Only thing I could think of was like literal oranges and leaves from those oranges. But after mixing the shades together, I got a really gorgeous selection of like muted greens and brown tones, even though they were like more on like the ugly spectrum of browns because they were green-based browns, but it definitely gave me a lot more inspiration to work with this box. I felt a lot more comfortable working with this box, and I felt like I could actually make something that I would enjoy and something that would look good. So after doing that, I felt so much better about this box, and I just kind of brainstormed what I wanted to draw for a while, and just mixing things together, I would highly recommend because right off the bat, like I said, I was completely uninspired by my color selection. I got an orange and a green, and they were both pretty vibrant. The only thing that I'm not super happy about with this box is I don't have a lot of contrasting colors because I can lighten them a bunch, but as far as going for a darker tone goes, I can't really get. The pencil itself was a B. I don't know much about pencils, which is weird because like a lot of people are like, oh yeah, you're into art, you know what like HB and B and H. No, I don't. I know one of them's softer and one of them's harder, and that like affects how dark they are and how light they are. I've never like memorized what's what when it comes to pencils, so it's a B pencil, but I have absolutely no idea what that means. I don't know if that's, I don't know if any of you guys have that problem. It's not really a problem though, because I don't work with graphite, but it wasn't a very dark pencil. That's what we're getting at here. So I didn't have a lot of dark tones, and I kind of struggled with that because I wanted her skin tone to be a lot darker. I wanted her hair to be even darker than her skin tone. Like, my initial idea was getting her hair so dark that it was really, really deep brown that was almost black. That's what I would want to do with this piece had it not been with these supplies, because I did really like how the sketch turned out. But that just wasn't something that I was going to be able to do with this box, which is okay. So I just kind of changed my plan when I was in the middle of it. Once I realized, like, I've darkened her skin tone pretty much as I can darken it, I decided I would have to change my plans with what I wanted to do for the hair, and overall I am really happy with how this one ended up turning out. If I was going to do it again, there would be things I would do differently. I did struggle with contrast, like I mentioned, and just putting similar colors together. I really liked the browns that I was able to mix from this, but it was really hard to make it so it wasn't too green toned of a brown, because then it just looked very unnatural on her skin, and obviously it doesn't have to look natural, but I definitely wanted more of just like a deep rich brown, which isn't something that I necessarily got, but like I said, I still am really happy with how this ended up turning out. This is definitely not the direction I thought I would be able to go with this box when I first saw the art supplies, because obviously I'm not using either of them really how they're intended to be used. I never use the crayon directly onto the paper at any point within this drawing. I don't really like crayon textures. The only thing, no, that's a lie, I did use it on the eyes, but then I watered it down. That's the only time I used it. But I don't really like crayon textures. And like I mentioned before, I was really surprised with how you were able to work with this crayon with water, because it really did almost instantly blend out the edges with water. You didn't have to work it a ton. It was a really pleasant art supply to work with. However, I definitely don't see myself working with it again. I probably will never ever touch that crayon again. And it's not bad, it's just like, it's not something that I care to use. I know it's a really cool mixed media tool, as well as the 3D acrylic liner that just basically spits out acrylic paint. That's also really cool because as a mixed media artist, you would be able to get a lot of really cool effects on there, but that's just not something that I care for using in my art. But honestly, I didn't even know something like that existed, and that is really cool because that is something that I could see a lot of people enjoying and a lot of people wanting to work with, especially people who like to have very visible texture on their artwork. I think that is a really cool supply because it does dry surprisingly fast considering what it is, and it looks really cool because it is a really distinctive 3D effect on the page. So it was cool to play around with, but definitely not something I could see myself using in the future. I also ended up losing a decent amount of footage at the end of this piece, which I went over it with a white liner. That is the like Kuretake cartoonist white pen that I got in my last Artsnacks box, which I really don't like. I don't know why I used it because it dripped onto my drawing like 4 times. It was very unpleasant in that sense. But as a whole, I'm actually really surprised with how much fun I had creating this piece with the supplies that came in this Artsnacks box. Like I said, from the very beginning, I was really thrown off by them. I didn't think I'd be able to create something I enjoyed, so as a whole, I'm really surprised by it, and I had a lot of fun making this piece. If you also got this January box, let me know in the comments below what colors you ended up getting with this box, because I haven't seen anyone else's unboxing of it just yet. But thank you guys so much for watching, and I hope to see you in the next one.